by that one, but we move into game one in this qualification elimination match in the upper left for Mystery Gaming, looking to do what no one thought he was going to be able to do and move on to the playoffs. His name is Bunny.
And his opponent looking to make it to the playoffs himself and avoid what happened last year. It is Team Liquid's Clem. Clem.
In Steadfast, I think it's kind of interesting as we take a look at this. As you so adroitly pointed out, these are two players absolutely that can qualify, that are fighting with their tournament lives on the line right now. But it's two very different stories about how they got there. If Clem does not win this game, his IEM Katowice will be a disappointment. He won Atlanta. He was the biggest miscarriage of justice I've ever seen when he was not the MVP at WTL Spring after that, or playoffs MVP after that incredible run. He has been, if not the best player in the world, at least one of the best players, top three for the last couple of months. Meanwhile, Bunny, I had him as 5th place in the group, maybe 6th place in the group. I had him very far down in Group B. So to see him fighting with this opportunity to go into qualify as well this is already, I would say, a successful IEM for him, and making playoffs would be far more than I ever expected.
Yeah, I think that would be a phenomenal situation for him. I think he'd be over the moon if he were to be able to make the playoffs here. Oh, SCV taking a little deviation. Is this just a hidden thing, or are we gonna see? No, he's not mining with all 3 on gas, so it will be an expansion behind this. Oh, SCV just kind of hiding here. Okay, he's just going to go for the SCV Reaper combo, which I did mention yesterday is not as common as it used to be. But if your opponent does mess up, you can get an opportunity, and Clem is one of the best Reaper micro players in the business. He will be able to take down his opponent's SCV. Okay, he is going to delay this command center a fair bit. Yeah, it's about the best case scenario for Clem. As long as he gets away with this Reaper, this is totally fine for him. And it will be super fast reactor cyclones with this. This was actually a situation where Clem, if that had backfired, could have been very dangerous, because when 2 Reapers come across the map, if Bunny feels confident to do so, those cyclones would have been a ways away from completing. But I like kind of the confidence that a move like that indicates that Clem is feeling. Clem, for me, the biggest question mark is, does he falter? It's not so much, is he capable of winning? I think he is absolutely capable of still winning this tournament 100%. It's, does he get in his own head? Does he stumble and maybe let the past get to him?
And what's interesting as well is we take a look at these different openings, right? We have Bunny, Clem. Bunny goes for much quicker reactor cyclones up, but it delays his starport as Clem. Did he see what was in the main base? Did that Reaper? It saw nothing whatsoever, just the supply depot. But we saw Clem go, or Clem goes for the quicker reactor, getting those quicker reactor cyclones as quick as possible. Bunny goes for single cyclone, gets that reactor much later, but it's a much quicker starport. And both these are very valid, but it is interesting to see how the players are choosing to play into things. That being said, Clem is sitting here. He's got double the cyclones. They're running across the map right now. Bunny's not onto the other side of the map, but his cyclones are in the medevac. If Clem can find what he wants right now, if he can get a lock on these medevacs, he can make life extremely uncomfortable for Bunny.
This feels almost like an ambush from Bunny, like he's hiding the cyclones here. Okay, he does try and do so. Will save that cyclone. Beautiful micro from Bunny. Gets 2 for 0. That is a dream scenario for the Terran, and it was a masterful bait right there from Bunny. Clem does get into the main base, and he's still, oh my god, no way. That gets run down, right?
Yeah, okay.
I was like, if he actually gets away with that, that would have been the most criminal act you can pull off in a game of StarCraft, a literal bank heist. But Bunny, what a cool move, hiding those 2 cyclones in the medevac, baiting Clem in a little bit. That was a 700 IQ move, and that's the kind of thing that you need to do in order to win at this level of StarCraft II.
I'm looking at this like, oh, I'm a little worried Clem gets the lock on, but nah, he showed me he's a much smarter man.
Bunny knew exactly what he was doing. That was all part of his plan.
Absolutely. So Clem gets like another SCV, and he does maintain this economic lead, but Bunny's third base is much faster than what Clem has. Not on the low ground, he's not being that greedy, but he should be able to go and develop at least one or maybe one SCV of that differential just by having his third base just a tiny bit faster. Of course, interference matrix on the way both sides, but Clem has so many, despite losing a couple, he has so many Cyclones getting ready to move at the front, and there are only 2 Cyclones here for Bunny. He's got some Ravens. That's a lot of auto turret energy. But even then, if you force that defensively, it means you don't have it offensively later on. That can be a little bit annoying, but Clem doesn't know what's beyond that. The Cyclones are going to pull back. There's a tank on the high ground. All of that makes it a little scary for Clem to move in. Meanwhile, on the other side, we got a double Cyclone drop coming out of Bunny right now, and it's a single Cyclone here for Clem. He's going to look for the good lock-on. SCVs have to get pulled into this. Now he's got the lock-on on the medevac, and the boost is going to be in. 1, 2, 3 more shots. Cyclones are going to try to get on top. Auto turret gets dropped as well. So the Cyclone will fall. But this medevac, as low as it is, it continues to try to rally its way around. A couple SCVs are dead. Can we get a lock-on? No!
Oh, my God.
You're talking about bank heist and robbery, Steadfast. This one's illegal.
Yes. Oh, my God. No, now this is what makes it illegal. Oh, Clem with a great interception spot, but doesn't get the find. Wow. Bunny threading the needle with that medevac. That was a really nice move and counter move. With that, Bunny anticipating that Clem will be in position, he takes a funkier route and gets around that, gets out of there. Now, I do want to say, Clem is still ahead. That Reaper, I don't think I talked enough about the impact of getting those 3 SCVs. It actually put Clem ahead, and he's still up 4 workers, even with the slightly later third command center timing, all that jazz. We do see Bunny going for a faster double engineering bay. And a very interesting thing that we've seen a little bit in this matchup sometimes, it is a stim and combat shields at the same time. Now, we do have interference matrix available. There are a lot of Cyclones. And the potential to go in on top of this third base, if he can lock down those tanks, there's the scan. He's got some setup, some interference matrices available. Is Clem going to go for the move?
He's got the Ravens down.
Nope, he's just going to go for auto turrets. Okay.
I was like, you know, maybe from a different angle running through, but oh man, there's a Cyclone right here. So Ravens.
Nice, yeah, nice movement, nice positioning.
They're going to have to drop auto turrets on top. Cyclone will go down, so that slows things down. Marines are going to go down as well, and actually, there's just not enough to deal with these auto turrets. These Ravens are on a bit of a doomed course, though, as one Cyclone, well, it's going to get a lock on one of the Ravens. It will go down. But at the end of the day, right, it's, oh, drop the main base as well. Clem trying to take advantage of things, trying to take advantage of Bunny maybe being a little bit distracted. Some more SCVs will go down. That Cyclone has been marooned on the island with just about a bag of gunpowder in one shot, will go down. And Clem cannot break the third, not just yet. And now we talk about what Bunny has, because you talked about that double tech lab, this stim combat shields at the same time. Bunny's timing, even down a little bit in army supply, he's got 1-1, his opponent doesn't. He's got combat shields, his opponent doesn't. His bio is so much stronger than what Clem has in this game, and he's going to try to take advantage of it. For the moment, he's going to knock down 3 Cyclones, and that will force things back. Of course, Clem has transitioned. These Cyclones are not as important, not as relevant as they once were. But again, the question is, how much advantage can Bunny find off of this significant timing that he's been able to build? And as 1-1's just about done for Clem, I think that answer is not a lot at all.
For me, the bigger timing is always that combat shields timing in TVT. 1-1 is a big deal, and of course 2-2 versus 1-1, all that, you know, all those upgrades can make a big difference. Speaking of which, both players were a little bit late on their armory, but it was Bunny who was later. So Clem was actually down in that upgrade timing significantly, but now he's a little bit ahead, just very marginally, because he was able to start his armory closer to optimal timing. Now, we do see, off of the fact that Clem committed to Cyclone so much harder, his siege tank count is quite a bit lower. He's down 3 siege tanks, and he did lose one of those Ravens. Ooh, these Cyclones. If he can find those medevacs, that would be huge. He's going to get one fully loaded, one second one. Quite a few units inside. That's a straight-up disaster for Bunny, because these Cyclones, they're probably not going to find that much more value normally. Now, take a look at the Marine count. There was, for a moment, a 31 Marine lead off the back of that. Yes, the Cyclones get cleaned up, but they're able to trade out much more valuably than they ever should have at this stage in the game.
Steadfast, you said at one point there was a 30 Marine lead. I don't think a 30 Marine lead is all that different. This is a significant advantage for Clem right now, but as we talk about TVT, it's always the question. Yeah, you have an army lead. It's really important to point out you maybe have a tech lead as 2-2 is going to be done faster. but what can you do with it? Because tanks are such a solid space controls tool that it makes it so hard to even, especially if it's a Marine lead, makes it so hard to actually leverage that to do something with it. So yes, Clem's gonna get these Marines, at least one of them on the right side, but Bunny's got his 4th base down on location. He's properly sieged up. Clem is sitting here on 2, so he's down in Raven count, only 2 versus the 3 because he lost one earlier on. We have some Vikings. We have like 1 Viking from, that's not enough to really shoot things up. We got maybe a couple more Vikings from Bunny as he adds more in. Just because Clem is sitting here, he's up 20 supply. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's a lot that he can do with it at the moment. He's got to do more to pull Bunny out of position.
No, certainly not on Oceanborn. It's not a situation where Marine tank is super easy to get things done. We do see the scouting cycling of Bunny getting taken down, but once again, that's not the biggest of deals. It's nice to have them on the map. They kill Marines quite well, but they're not the biggest of deals losing those. What is a bigger deal is the choices they're making going into that later stage. We are going to see a potentially big fight breaking out. Huge anti-armor missile. Siege tanks will siege up here. Nice little jump from Bunny. Able to get a few of those units. Clem trying to outposition his opponent. Does get a good siege up on the high ground. Bunny, oh, bit of a bloody nose there from those tank shots. But the big thing for me is that we've got an 8 racks double factory setup. As siege tanks are continuing to wail away at each other. We've got a starport transition for Clem versus a much bigger commitment into ground from Bunny.
Yeah, Bunny is just really pulling on the school of Yun, right? Just tons of racks, tons of Marines, not opting into that late game and just relying on just sheer muscle to try to out-tempo and outplay Clem. The problem is, as much as we talk about that this drop is going to get found by the random missile turret on the north side, which is just, we see a lot of Terran players do this, and it's so useful. But the problem is, as we talk about trying to out-tempo and out-muscle Clem with this mass bio style, Steadfast, there's only been 1 player that has been setting the tempo and has been out on the map and been as active as he wants to be, and that's not Bunny.
No, but Bunny has done a really good job of keeping up with Clem for sure. Bunny is one of the cleanest macro players in the business. I've always said that whenever I watch Bunny play, I'm always surprised looking at his army supply count off of his worker count. We are going to see an attack coming in on the top side. No scan. Clem should not be going for this. He does manage to set up his siege position and actually gets a nice interference matrix to be able to trade out tanks. But that did cost him his 2 Ravens, and now there is 3 Ravens to 0 still. Clem just going to have to give up these 3 tanks. Bunny, very nice pickoff. Oh, but it will cost him a few Vikings. However, okay, no, there's not enough Marines, but Clem's supply just plummeted.
That was a horrendous fight there. Clem goes down the ramp, is withered under tank fire, especially with an anti-armor missile on top of it. God. So down a couple upgrades, right? You have effectively 0 armor when that happens at +2. And then Bunny recommits, and the Raven energy is not spent particularly before that, so he's able to shut down all 3 tanks. Clem's caught in a choke. Bunny's gonna get on top of these tanks as well. And remember, Bunny's on the 8 racks. He has insane Marine production on top of this. This is the perfect composition, the perfect production setup to try to punish your opponent for overcommitting into you, because you just know that they're not going to be able to produce at nearly the same speed as you are. So this command center is dead. Absolutely, it's in the ground. Not a lot you can do about it. Clem, you got to be careful even more. Bunny's going to try to get on top of everything. The tanks for Bunny are on siege, but now they're going to start to rain down hell on top of this. The tanks of Clem are just not there. The 3rd base gets broken. Clem on the other side is going to try to get a little bit more. It's another dead base, but again, the reinforcements of Bunny make this just a little bit less scary. And now Clem tries to get a little bit more, but the tank fire is really strong. And Steadfast, all of a sudden, Bunny has taken down the 3rd base of Clem, is going to try to move on, siege down the 4th base of Clem, and it's a 70 army supply lead for Bunny in this game.
Bunny is playing fantastically right now. This whole game feels like it was a specifically built trap for Clem. That it all started with that double cyclone hide in the natural, where he baited Clem into a fight that Clem didn't want to take. Clem still found some damage, got himself a little bit ahead going into the mid game. We are going to see, the siege tank's unsieged. Is this the opportunity that Clem was looking for? The answer is no. There's not enough. He's too far down in supply. He's down 60, 70 army supply. Big tank shots coming in from Clem. Huge tank shots. Actually just cleared out 4 tanks and about 3 volleys. But It is the economy right now that is just too much. We've got so many of those blue arrows. A lot of SCVs getting hit here on the way, trying to escape. Clem is trying to wriggle his way out of it, but Bunny's still maxed out, and I do not think he is going to let this one go. But I want to kind of go back to my previous point. This feels like it was a trap game. Oh, is this the right move? He will kill the Liberators, keeps the tank alive. Okay. Clem, if he wants to win this game, he needs to slow it down so much, but Bunny he's not gonna take his foot off the gas. And in fact, Bunny has now added on his own double starport, so he's got more Ravens in production. Bunny is just playing this out so damn well. And, you know, shame on me for doubting him, because he has come in ready to play, and he has prepared so well for his opponent specifically.
Dude, he's the Maru Slayer. Like, I know that's outdated tech, right? Because that's years ago at this point, but I have learned to never doubt Bunny. He comes in there and he's like, okay, well, he's played like 100 games of competitive StarCraft since last Katowice, right? Which is not, in the balance of things, that is not nearly as much as most other players. Hasn't really shown all that much, has not had incredible results, but this matchup has always been something that he, again, punches significantly above his weight. So Clem, he's down on, technically on 4 bases, but it feels so much worse than that. Bunny's got his 5th. We're going to see a drop happen right before the planetary is done, so SCVs do have to run away with this, or away from this, and we don't have building armor. We don't have high-sec auto-tracking, so you can sit behind the mineral line there, but Clem's going to try to find a little bit more on the left side. And remember, Sitfest, as much as we're talking about Bunny being in this incredible position, as Clem does not want to dive on top of that, being in this incredible position, we've seen Clem already make one insane comeback in this matchup in the tournament already. Game 2 versus Oliveira. He's probably a little bit more dead now than he was at any point in that Oliveira game, but he was very dead at times in that Oliveira game. So we're going to have to see what happens as Liberators siege up these tanks. Bio's going to kill another orbital. So Clem back down to not even 3, back down to 2 at this point. Vikings do have some level of dominance, and Liberators will not get another tank, but they will get damage done to it. And actually, oh no, I thought that orbital was dead. Apparently not. It will survive.
No, he lost the orbital, but he was on 4. He was
okay.
on 4 before that. I'm amazed that Clem is still alive in this game. This is actually phenomenal. Like, he is so far down in supply, but he does have air superiority for the moment. There are 4 Ravens for Bunny. There's still a huge opportunity for him to close this game out, but Clem's not giving it to him. And Oceanborn is a game that is a map that is really difficult to close the game out. If Clem comes back in this game, oh man, how do you come back from something like that mentally as Bunny? I do love the Liberators, by the way. They're a very low supply way to lock down bases. And one thing Clem does not have is supply. And for a moment, actually, he's out-mining his opponent in terms of minerals. Though we talk about those arrows, there are now 3 red arrows for Clem as Bunny is trying to double expand on location, which I do like in theory. Viking will clean up this Liberator, and that will bring things back closer to parity. But this, even now, is not over yet.
No, it really isn't. I love that Bunny is finally, like, one thing I would have liked to see from Bunny with all the just insane amount of map control he's had over the last 5 minutes or so would have been that mass expansion, which is like, okay, well, you know what? This is TVT. It's Oceanborn. As this tank is dead. I've never seen a more dead tank in my life. It will fall down, but this, look, this is Oceanborn. This is TVT. It's hard. It's so hard to break my opponent. So I'm just going to mass expand everywhere. I'm going to take advantage of that map control. And, you know, quite honestly, that's a little slow for Bunny. That is one of the reasons why Clem has been able to start to claw his way back into this game, because Bunny didn't quite explode the economy the way that we would have liked to see. But now he is. He's taking one of Clem's bases on the bottom side. He's just taking every single base on the map. He's got a big Doom drop into the natural here. There's one medevac. It will target a low, or one missile turret will target a low medevac. But even still, Clem's going to get right on top of this. He's going to stim on top. Tanks are not going to siege up in time. They're all going to fall. And this Doom drop is a bit more of a doom for Bunny than it is for Clem. At the end of the day, Liberators, 1 or 2 of them will fall, but there's enough damage on the ground. Meanwhile, other side, every single tank is going to get shut down here. You got to be so careful. Clem, though, saves a ton of his Marines and backs away. Liberators are going to siege up on everything. The shutdowns are running out of time, and this tank line is beautiful, absolutely, but it cannot get close. Not with these tanks from
medevacs.
Bunny on the Clem on the natural. Not with these Liberators here. Vikings are going to shoot the medevacs from the skies as well. And Bunny's supply falls through the floor all of a sudden. Getting a little bit too far forward, a little bit too big for his britches. Clem keeps this alive, and he doesn't lose all that much.
No, he does not. He retains his air superiority by a huge amount. Most of the Ravens fell. It's a 14-4 Viking lead. The only thing Clem's missing is Liberator range. He actually got the medevac energy upgrade. But, oh my God, are we actually seeing Clem do a Maru-esque comeback in this game? It hasn't happened yet, but this is getting alarmingly close. And I actually think I might put Clem in the lead if he can just secure this base, which, with what he's got, he may be able to do. However, we do see 5 Vikings at a time here for Bunny. He needs to not lose Vikings during all this. Clem may want to start repairing up these Vikings. He's super broke, and the economy of Bunny has finally started to kick in off these new bases. Good job. Can he save that one tank? Oh, it does get away. Just getting out of those that liberation zone. Bunny did lose 5 SCVs during all this, but like I said, he's secured these bases, not really mining from them yet, but he's still up 20 workers. Clem, I cannot believe that he is even still in this game right now. That is amazing to me.
Fest, we do have to talk. You talk about building 7 Vikings at a time. That's really important. Air superiority is one of the things that is keeping Clem in this game. Other thing, Bunny, with all this money that he's been able to build, he's on double armory. He's got +1 flyer attack done. He's got +1 armor just about done. +2 attack on the way. He's developing this idea that even if his Viking count is a little bit lower, and it's not even lower anymore, right? It's 15 to 14. Even if it was, the upgrades on his Vikings were going to be so much better that it would not matter nearly to the same extreme. So Clem does have that right side base now. He's been able to secure that one, but he still has to stay at home. He's not maxed out yet. It feels a little bit awkward, but his army supply is actually really good. And as he postures here in the middle, if he can take a good fight, if he can find some opportunity to shut some of these tanks down, which is hard because, right, it's 16 tanks from Bunny. If he can find some way to get that fight, it is absolutely, you're right, it is still doable. But I'm with you, Steadfast. These Vikings, they're also orange. They're also yellow. They need a repair.
Yes, and Bunny does not, or Clem does not know that Bunny has gone so hard into the Vikings. He is trying to rebuild his own Vikings right now. He is not repaired, though. Right now, Clem, if they have a big fight, his Liberators need to be massive contributors to that fight because the air has been taken. The air superiority has been taken by Bunny now. Great job from him to not lose sight of the overall picture in this matchup. With him being unable to close the game out, it would have been really easy for him to just completely lose track of the focus in this game. But he has not done so. We are going to see him sieging up on the right side. Clem, oh, he cannot take this fight right here. Anti-armor missile is going to be huge. This should be a super one-sided fight in favor of Bunny. Clem will disengage with the Vikings. He is going to counterattack with a bunch of Marines, which I actually love because there's really nothing at home. That's going to dislodge the whole position. Bunny could have set up for a potential checkmate right there, but Clem drives his opponent back with the counterattack of Marines. Such a great maneuver. Bunch of Marines pop out at the perfect timing here for Bunny, and that should clean this up, but Clem able to buy himself space.
That he is. And remember, when we talk about this late game setup, Marines are not the most relevant resource. Yes, they are useful, and we saw Bunny building more, but in comparison to tanks and Liberators and Vikings and tanks and Liberators and Vikings and Ravens, they're almost a throwaway unit at this point. It's not uncommon, especially if we're seeing this Bunny who's on, what is he, any more than 8 racks? No, he's still on 8 racks. This Bunny player who has...
you wouldn't go more than 8 racks here.
Yeah, he can build 16 Marines at a time or 15 Marines at a time, something like that, right? At that point, they are kind of throwaway units when you got some minerals to spend. And Clem, realistically, as nice as that was, that dislodge was incredibly important. You pointed it out. He doesn't really have the money to spend on throwing away a bunch of Marines and medevacs, not easily, but he will take the right side base. But the bigger problem, even as we talk about everything else, there's 3-2 on the way for these Vikings. This air lead that Bunny has is becoming more and more insurmountable as this game goes on.
Yeah, and a nice couple of interference matrices right here for Bunny, going to allow him to shut down this base. It has mostly mined out, but there's still about 1,000 gas there. Gas, of course, an incredibly crucial resource in TVT. Bunny, a little bit of a disjointed retreat, and actually, is this the situation Clem's looking for? If he can get on top of those Vikings with the Marines, that could be a big opportunity for him, but there are tanks behind this for Bunny, and the Viking Well, what is the Viking count coming out of this? Clem actually is up 10 Vikings now. That was the fight for Clem. Oh my goodness, despite being down in upgrades and pretty close in Viking count, down in I think aggregate HP, Bunny kind of gets caught right there, and once again losing a big advantage. He's still so far ahead in economy in this game, but he's been unable to close it out. And now we actually see a mineral income lead again for Clem. Bunny has so much gas and so much gas mining. Oh, these tanks, though, they are on siege. Clem is going to get jumped a little bit here, but he spots it. Marine's going to get in on top of this. We will see the SCVs getting pulled. Clem is in a bit of a potentially checkmated move. Can he get back in position? Bunny, huge anti-armor missile, but there's too many Vikings for Clem. He's going to win in the air. This game is still so close, but I think actually this went way better for Clem. Bunny, what happened?
Clem rips the air superiority out of Bunny's fingers. He's just been building more Vikings. Bunny thought the upgrades were going to be enough, and now, I mean, it's 16 Vikings to 10 here. You can, he's not going to land the Vikings on the tanks. That's not worth doing. But you're at the point almost where you can start to build Liberators. It's not quite there, not just yet, because the Viking, the production coming out of Bunny is a big deal. But Clem gets that right side base up. He holds the high ground now, which means more tanks are going to go down. He's got the vision there. Bunny has to give away this north side base. And as we take a look at our economy just a little bit, you don't want to lose these Vikings to Marines, but as we look at our economy, Clem is slowly matching Bunny. And yeah, you talk about mule hammers and things, but we look at the actual footprint on the map. Bunny has Clem's bottom side base, so he's up 2 bases still, but there were times when he was up 4. So Clem slowly redeveloping that economy, slowly redeveloping that position. But we also take a look at the supply and say, well, actually, Bunny's up 40 supply. He's up double the workers here. He's got up 20 army supply. Clem continues to take miraculous fights, but he continues to be in this situation where he cannot make a mistake.
No, and he has, it's still a huge lead for Bunny. Bunny still has the opportunity to win this game, very much so, but Clem should have never gotten this far in the game. He should have never been able to do this, but he has been, through sheer force of will, doing this. We do see, though, a huge counterattack on the top side. Bunny gonna shut down the last mining base of Clem. 19 SCVs go down, the orbital falls, and that might be the door being closed on this comeback. We got a gigantic supply lead for Bunny now. It was big before, it's huge now. That base on the bottom side that Bunny took so long ago, almost seemingly feeling like an afterthought, may end up being what is his saving grace in this game.
Yeah, but Clem will take the north side base out, and I don't want to be too much on the Clem Hopium train, but his army, well, when I was going to say that, the army supply was actually somewhat comparable. It was within 10. Now it's a 40 army supply lead, but I would like to remind you that at one point, Clem was down to 70 army supplies. So, just saying, Bunny's going to drop on top of these tanks. Right, the Vikings are just barely out of position. And a Liberator Siege will not be enough to keep this alive. And in fact, it's just going to be a dead Liberator or 2 on top of that one. Bunny now punishing Clem even more significantly for having the sheer gall to try to siege this base up. So, that's going to be 2 more dead tanks. That's going to be more dead Liberators. Bunny now going to try to siege up this planetary on the north side. And that is Clem's last mining base. That is the only bit of income that he has right now. Every other base is mined out to 90% mined out. So the SCVs are going to have to run, but Clem is broke as he's ever going to be. He finally knocks the bottom side base out. But at this point, the damage that base has done is done. Bunny has mined a ton from it. Clem needs to force this into a base trade. And honestly, I think there are just too many bases to properly trade.
I mean, if he does knock out both these bases and Bunny takes a bad fight, even now, literally down 100 supply, there is still like a very, very small percentage chance. I don't think it's going to happen. Bunny is going to pull the SCVs. He's going to go with the interference matrices, knock everything out. Even if Clem wins in the air, it won't matter at this point. Bunny shuts the door on the comeback and takes a nearly 30-minute game on Oceanborn. Clem is now 1 map away from being eliminated. Bunny now 1 map away from not necessarily making it into the playoffs, but doing everything he could to make it into the playoffs.
Yep, and he's very not only happy that he won that game, because I mean, you're sweating after that one. Clem, by the way, was playing at 450 APM that game the entire time, and You know, you don't have keyboard repeat rate shenanigans to take advantage of as a Zerg player or something, building a bunch of units off Larva. I will say, though, Bunny is pretty happy about what also has happening in this group because Shin is up 1. And remember, Bunny needs to win this series, and Shin needs to beat Oliveira for Bunny to advance to make it really easy. So the fact that Oliveira is down a map in this series and Bunny's up a map in their own series is Bunny's going to be very, very happy about that one. Gonna have to see what happens though, because game 2 Hecate is ready. It's not loaded in just yet, but Steadfast, that almost feels like one of those games that even as we say, well, you know, if Bunny lost, how do you come back from it? It almost feels tempting to say, well, Bunny won. Bunny, how do you come back from that? Because Bunny had killed Clem at about 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes in, and that game went 30 plus.
Yeah. But at the same time, other side of that coin, Clem was playing with so much vim and vigor. That's an exhausting game to lose. Mm-hmm. That is the kind of game that feels like an unbelievable amount of momentum for the winning player coming out of that one. I really want to give credit to both players because that was a huge slugfest. And Bunny, after the one situation in the middle, it would have been so easy to lose sight of the game and just end up just not being able to keep yourself focused, not retaking that Viking lead. And it happened multiple times too. But to have the presence of mind to make the moves that he did from the position he, I don't want to say it, but threw away, is really impressive and very good to see from both players. I am so excited for game 2 now.
We're gonna have to see what happens in the bottom left, though, to introduce our players before it gets too crazy. He's up 1 off a 30-minute marathon. It's Bunny.
And his opponent spawning up at the top right for Team Liquid, putting in a Herculean effort, but falling just a little bit short. It is Clem. And man, oh man, look at what we've got here out of Clem. Down 1-0 in the series, elimination point. Speaking of which, if Bunny wins this 2-0, he is now through officially because Shin took a game off of Oliveira. If Bunny has a better map score, he will advance over Oliveira, regardless of even if Oliveira wins his game 2-1. We are looking at a just ballsy, gutsy play from Clem, down 1-0 with his tournament life on the line. This is what champions are made of, going for stuff like this. Will it work out? That is completely undetermined, and it's not an ideal situation. He's going up against a 2-gas opener, but this is the kind of swagger, big Chad energy move that I love to see from a young player like Clem.
In fact, there are two ways to look at this. You can talk about swagger, Chad energy, playing the way champions are made of. You can also talk about desperation, about feeling a little rough going into things, feeling like,
oh, that scout.
Oh, he sees it as well. So Bunny now knows exactly what he's dealing with. Sees the Reaper. Well, doesn't quite. This technically could be a one Rax proxy Reaper, but that is not all that common in this matchup. So what does he do? Command center on the high ground. He's not even going to mess with it. He's going to hold this high ground as well as he can. Clem, though, is actually going to get some really good trades on that. Reaper will go down. Seems destined to. Tries to run away. KDA charge is not going to get it. And Clem keeps both Reapers alive. Not quite. Reaper will fall. He does not delay the command center. And from a position that it felt like it might have been very good for Clem getting those shots down early, he does trade a Reaper out. Cyclone's on the way here for Bunny. He's got, what does he have? He's got one Reaper, one Marine. He's got a Hellion out. This becomes much more difficult for Clem to get really much of anything done.
Oh, there was vision of that Reaper. Oh my God, it literally moved about a pixel up to the high ground and was able to get away there. It was on the low ground for just a moment. Clem is going to be able to find a couple of SCVs here. He will pick off his opponent's Reaper. Bunny, oh my God, Clem is using the command center position against his opponent. I don't know if Bunny realizes there's actually no way for the Reaper to get out there. He could have cornered it, does eventually corral it, but Clem wasn't able to escape through this little pocket. I do want to point out, by the way, Bunny actually, the reason that Clem was able to do as much as he was, which is still actually not amazing for him, Bunny misclicked the first shot. He shot the unbuildable bricks, And that is what allowed Clem to do what he did there. This is still a good situation for Bunny, but with double reactor Cyclone behind this and one Cyclone already on the field, I actually don't hate Clem's position even a little bit. Yeah, the only real advantage that Bunny has is that there's a medevac popping on out. Command centers are almost identically timed. There's like a 3 or 4 second speedier orbital here, but Bunny, because he built this on the high ground, it's actually not amazing for him. Yeah, the only advantage he has is that faster medevac, and Bunny, he does have opportunity to get something done, but if Clem can find this, I don't know, this looks a little bit worrisome. Clem, though, wait a minute, is that... Okay, no, that's the second barracks. Yeah. Okay, so he's just going to use this as a scouting tool. Very cute.
Does Clem go mass cyclone? Does Clem drop a second factory after this? I know this seems weird, but there's no add-ons on the barracks. The second barracks is being used as a scouting unit. Again, I know this sounds weird, but anyways, Clem actually going to have the faster boost. You're going to try to lock this down on the ground, and he's going to get the cyclones off. The boost is done. This is dead. This medevac is on the ground. Clem, what a brilliant play.
Bunny left himself exposed, underestimated what Clem could do right there. That's a huge pick off on the medevac. Good job from Bunny to save the cyclones. But Clem gets the kill on the medevac, and now it is his playground. He's the one who gets to do what he wants to do with that double cyclone. Very heads-up play, and that's why you use that barracks. Bunny, just a tiny little misstep with his medevac movement could end up being very costly for him. A tiny bit of a supply block at 54. That's the classic Terran supply block. Just it's one that frictionally seems to happen very often. But man, oh man, what a play from Clem. He is playing so on point. I will say Bunny's third command center is a fair bit faster, but Clem is actually up a few workers, just maybe better macro overall, just hitting those SEV timings. And he will have the opportunity to maybe find some damage with these cyclones. But I'm just so impressed with how well Clem is playing mechanically, even for Clem.
Yeah, that was well done. And, you know, we surfaced the idea of, oh, does maybe Clem go mech mass cyclone or something that we've seen Cure do. That's not happening. He is adding that third barracks in, but he did build just a ton of cyclones. So he's got 9 cyclones on the map to the 5 of his opponent. And there is a tank, absolutely. But we have a couple Ravens. There is interference matrix. You can bomb on top of this. There are some weird fights you can take where it gets really technical, where cyclone shots get tanked on the Ravens, but the Ravens get their get their spells off, and it gets a little awkward. Bunny, though, does have an opportunity to mitigate some of this worker lead that Clem's been able to build for himself. Auto turrets in the natural. What this also maybe means is that it means that the Ravens are on Clem's side of the map, which means Clem might have an opportunity to try to dive in. It's not going to happen, though. He's not going to try. And he loses 9 SCVs from these Ravens. Any bit of economic advantage that he had, well, Steadfast, it's just not there anymore.
No, that's a lot of SCVs going down right there. Bunny now taking a 4-worker lead, but you did make an important point, which is that these Ravens will not have energy. And Clem, he is going to be able to land his third command center more quickly. Bunny still hasn't taken it yet, and he doesn't necessarily feel like he can. He might be going for it just now, but with cyclones on the field, they kill buildings quite quickly, even without that old version of them. If you have 8-9 cyclones, you can lose a third command center very quickly. So that's why Bunny is not moving out here. And with Clem in position, we actually are going to see Bunny sneak up on these cyclones. Does get a good shot. Clem will get away though.
All right, bit of an update as well. When we talk about what this season, I'm just gonna lose a cyclone, unfortunately. When we talk about what this game means, Shin just 2-0 to Oliveira. So at this point, Bunny wins, he's through. Clem wins, he's through. It became all of a sudden extremely simple about what this game means, what this series means. But double drop going on the right side. Clem dropping cyclones in the natural with auto turrets as well, trying to get as much damage as he took earlier on. And again, Bunny was positioned to go take that third base, wanted to make sure that that went down, but it's 12 dead SCVs. And with the auto turrets here, the Marines are just not enough at the moment, so Clem's gonna get maybe even a little bit more. But now that drop's forced away, Steadfast, we gotta look on the other side of the map, because here comes Bunny's rejoinder. There's a tank sieged up in the main base already, but it does not cover anything. It covers portions of the base, sure, but not where Bunny's assumedly going to drop back in. So Cyclones are going to get found out by Clem. He's going to knock those down, but drop on the other side. 2 tanks are here. Clem has to get on top of things. 8 SCVs are going to fall down. The tank will fall, though, and it's 13 dead SCVs for the cost of 2 medevacs, 2 tanks, a couple Marines. And what can Clem find now? He's up 15 army supply. He's up despite that 13 workers going down. He's up 9 workers. He's got this posture on the map, but can he break Bunny? That's the really important question.
Oh, nice interception on this medevac. Man, Clem does so many little things so well. Now, it is worth noting that all the Ravens have been kept alive. So there's still more Ravens here for Bunny, more single Raven, I should say, just 1 extra. Nice little find from Bunny. Finds Clem unable to escape, but a cute little ambush with the tanks on the high ground from Clem. Bunny gets a bunch of big tank shots here. Clem is ahead in this game by the workers with the tempo, but it is still a situation where this game is so... It could so easily go either way. Yeah. Clem? Okay, no, I was going to say that's out of range, right? And it will be. Cute little siege up. Nice scan from Bunny. Finds the double medevac drop, or triple medevac drop moving out. I like that Clem just drops out of vision, though. Oh, he might have baited Bunny a little bit out of position. Double or triple interference matrix could be big here. Clem, though, checking for the Marines. Very nice attention to detail here from Clem. The micro decision making, very smart. There we go. He is going to pull the trigger. Nice siege up on the low ground. Bunny does have 2 more tanks sieging on up. Oh, the triple interference matrix on the top side. This fight is very close, but Bunny has some really clutch interference matrices and takes a miraculous fight, cleaning up all the tanks, and Clem falls so far down in supply.
Dude, this entire series has been Bunny saying, "Come into my lair, Clem, come into my lair," said the spider to the fly, and then bouncing on top of him, clamping down on top of him every single time Clem tries to make something happen. Bunny's got the next read on it. He's got the bait ready going, and he punishes Clem for doing
oh my
playing
God.
like Clem
There's
plays.
no combat shields.
There's no combat shields.
Bunny's Marines are way too skinny. They do not have their shield upgrade. Oh boy, that is a big deal. After a huge fight from Bunny and definitely taking the momentum lead, if he does not recognize that oh my God, his units don't have this, it's such a crucial upgrade. It's literally more valuable than an entire upgrade setup. We could potentially see 2-2 versus 1-1 Marines with shielded Marines against unshielded Marines if the fight happens the right way for Clem.
Yeah, it is literally 20% of your army's HP, just not there, not really accessible. Now, Bunny is going to move with a lot of his army onto the bottom side. He still has decent Raven energy. You still have to be careful of these tanks. We're going to see 1 shut down, but there's another tank right there. Clem has a really nice concave. I don't think Bunny can try to break through this as long as he's able to play patiently. In fact, the shutdown tank is actually going to get knocked down anyways. Nice stim forward there from Bunny. And there are no tanks here for Clem for the moment. Meanwhile, on the north side, that's going to be a 4th base that will fall down. Even though it's only 1-1, there's nothing there to defend it. It cannot float away. So the 4th base from Clem is dead. Bunny, his is on the way. It only just now get started. But again, this is one of those setups where Clem had every advantage 3 minutes ago. He had everything he wanted. 4th base on the way. Good upgrades, a good position, and Bunny slapped all of it down. But 2-2 is now about done as this drop commences. And this is maybe going to be another opportunity for Clem to make something happen. It's a 20-second window where he's got 20% more HP and he's got better upgrades. Can he take advantage of this Marine timing steadfast? I'm not going to say it's key to the game, but it's pretty damn important here as Bunny on the right side is not giving him that opportunity.
I mean, I'll say it's key to the game. It's a huge deal. We are going to see Bunny at least survive up to the 2-2, but that lack of combat shields could still end up being lethal for him. Bunny does get a good siege up on this tank, but Clem will be able to find it here. Part of the reason why it's such a big deal that the combat shields is there is that even with the tanks not having upgrades, which Clem's tanks do have +1. Hey, actually, hold that thought. We are going to see a drop in the main base. Clem will have that Liberator getting cleaned up. He's got a good defensive setup and should be able to clean this army up. The supplies are still very even, and that will actually be Bunny losing a lot. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, this is where the combat shields make such a big difference when there's no tanks around. Bunny could just lose the 3rd command center. No, he will keep it alive with the repair, but the Marines of Clem are so much better. The combat shields, he still hasn't noticed. 13.5 minutes into this game, I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Fast, you say it's where the tanks are there that it matters more. This is true, but combat shields are the difference between Marines getting 1 shot and 2 shot as well.
Yeah.
So
that was the point I wanted to make, and then the game kept happening.
It's valid on both sides. It's important across the board. So now Clem, he's up about 13 army supply. At times he's been up just a little bit more. And despite Bunny sniping Clem's fourth base is still faster, right? Which is wild. Yeah. He goes and retakes it. It's on position. It's mining. His third base is gonna. Oh, I'm sorry. No, never mind. That third base just gets floated over to the fourth base.
Yeah, he just repositioned it.
Yeah,
okay. Clem's actually kind of in dire straits right now, in a little bit of a desperate situation. Might be feeling like he has to get something done. Bunny still doesn't know about combat shields. This is aggravating. This is so brutal to see. He still might, even without it, be able to win this game. But, you know, if this happens, we have to see a beating Grandmasters with stupid stuff. We got to see a Hearthstone video. I go shieldless Marines against the best Terran in the world, you know, and look what happened.
Yeah, I mean,
big tank shots on this. Oh my God, he was not expecting tanks to be here, which I don't blame him. Why would they ever be there?
It was really nice positioning from Clem, actually. And now this is the timing that Clem's looking for. As the fourth base gets taken, it's not a planetary. There's no defense around it just yet. So Clem is going to reset at least part of the economy of this game. This fourth base is dead. There will be no repair. And now Clem wants to run a little bit further forward. He's got air superiority. He's got the Vikings. He's got the siege. He's got the vision advantage. And that's going to be incredibly nice for him. But Bunny's got reinforcements on the Vikings. So Clem, every single Viking he had, now gone. He doesn't have the siege anymore. Meanwhile, on the left side, that drop on the third base. Gonna get a couple SCVs, but not everything. And Clem's gonna have to unsiege, back up, go away. You know, Steadfast, TVTs in Atlanta were a little bit disappointing, but the TVTs we've been getting at Katowice, the ones involving Clem, the ones involving Bunny and Bjorn and everyone, have delivered in the extreme. We're 15 minutes in. Bunny still doesn't have combat shields. Clem's +3 attacks on the way. He can't afford his armor, but he is building that much bigger of an upgrade lead. But it's weird to say, like, it matters, absolutely. But on the flip side, given how this game has gone, does it even matter? Like, how Bunny is still doing so much with such significant deficits.
Yeah. Now, when it's 3-2 versus 2-2, which it will be for a very long time once these upgrades complete, Bunny, oh my God, like his Marines... Well, he's going to come in with a big spread. Clem does have 2 of these tanks. This is where the lack of combat shields could be huge, but there's just enough Marines to break through. Target fire on the Vikings would be very nice here out of Bunny. Clem will drive this back. Bunny is going to be able to escape. Nice scan right there from Clem to check to see if there was an ambush behind this. Clem is going to chase a lot of these Marines down. Bunny having to stim again just to escape. And at this point, actually, how many medevacs? No, he's got 7 medevacs. Okay, they're just not all here. Oh, Clem's got to be careful. Huge ambush in the middle of the map. Clem running into the tanks. No, don't do it. Oh, my God. So many Marines going down.
You want to talk about what that is? That is stress. That is your tournament life on the line right there, trying to do so much to come back into this game, because Clem has taken his licks in this series, in this game even. He's gone. He's lost his fourth base. He's been sieged up upon. He's lost a lot of stuff. It's been back and forth and back and forth. And you don't feel good about this game, regardless of who you are in this series. That's a massive drop on the right side. Clem doesn't know about it. Not yet. But he does have Vikings roughly in position and Steadfast. So many of these medevacs are so freaking low.
Ooh, these Marines are MVPs. They are going to spot this drop. Bunny, you gotta turn around. You cannot go further into this. Vikings do find an empty medevac right there. It's gonna be a bit of a jump here from Clem, but he realizes there's so much stuff here. Bunny is a little bit weirdly marooned. He's not trapped yet, but he needs to get out of here before he does potentially get trapped. And a wise decision is to disengage. We are going to see +3 armor starting up for Clem, as well as +2 vehicle weapons. Bunny still no shields on his Marines, and still with a supply lead in this game. There are 4 tanks on this base from Clem. Clem is mining more despite being on less command centers. He's mining actually quite a bit more. Bunny just now lifting off his main command center to go over. Huge doom drop into the main base. He goes back in with it. And this is a monster siege position for Bunny. He is so close to punching his ticket into the next round, into the playoffs, but Clem does have a lot of supply and will try and get back into the main base.
Yeah, the other way to look at this is a one-way trip. This is a one-way trip from Bunny. All of his medevacs are dead, but that's a ton of production that just got shut down.
Oh, the tanks in the middle of the map gonna get some huge shots on this army of Bunny.
Yeah, Bunny's going to try to move down the ramp. Lands the
Vikings.
Vikings as well here, Steadfast. So all the tanks are going to go down. Clem still maintains that supply lead, though. He just needs a little bit more time to take advantage of this. His +3 armor is halfway done. His +2 attack is halfway done. A lot of production
the
just
tanks
fell.
He's gonna grab 2 tanks in the middle map is Clem. Clem is now up 25 army supply. He's up combat shields at 19 minutes and 10 seconds. He's gonna have a 2 upgrade lead pretty soon. This army is very much trapped for Bunny, but it is still actually wailing away at the production. Even killing this tech lab to build siege tanks would be nice. Gets a barracks as well. Liberator will eventually clean this up. Clem is focused on not losing too much. He actually is taking damage on his SCV line right now. This is a very nice little setup from Bunny, and Bunny is going to make moves. I do like this siege from Clem. Will find this tank and will allow him to start mining once again before the Liberator is out. But Bunny has a big army on the bottom side. Clem will complete that +3. The Marines of Clem are so much better, but Bunny is still making plays happen. Oh, that was a very ambitious stim right there.
That was a bit of a bait there as well. It's like, yeah, clearly go do this, and not gonna work out. But Bunny tries to stim on top on the bottom side as well, and Clem's just got to give this position up. The orbital SCVs are gonna get pulled into this, but that's not a meat grinder you want to commit to. Orbital stays alive, but Clem, you gotta lift this thing. It's gonna go down. Lift the orbital, Clem. He's just gonna pull the SCVs.
Clem's gonna
Senses
jump the army. He's
right now,
gonna
trying
find
to get right
every
on top
single
of
tank.
every single thing goes down here. Bunny, he had the siege position up, but now we're finally seeing those upgrades really come to fruition. +2 on the tanks, 3-3 on the bio, and the lack of the combat shields. And somehow Clem keeps that third base alive. It got down to like 5 HP, Steadfast.
Great little siege up coming in here from Clem. He will jump his opponent's tanks, tries to drop on top of him, but realizes the Marines get back in position. Bunny does not have air superiority, which means that Clem can bully around if there's no scans available. Landing the Vikings a little bit strange. Bunny is down 40 army supply right now. He has landed his natural orbital at a 5th base location. Neither player has their main base. Bunny doesn't even have his natural. That is the situation we are in right now. This is a shoestring budget of a game on Hecate. And once again, if Bunny can somehow manage to close this one out, he will advance to the playoffs. If Clem is able to force a game 3, he will have the opportunity. 3-3 starts up and still no combat shields from Bunny.
Dude, I am so stressed right now as we're gonna see a bunch of Marines go down. They get the tank, but still no combat shields and everything else. And on the north side as well, yeah, getting the orbital is nice. Honestly, getting these SCVs maybe even more so. 13 SCVs go down, and that's not something Bunny can easily replace. Double missile turret in the main base says no, you do not get that. One medevac will fall down, the other one kind of marooned by these Marines. Steadfast, I am so stressed out by this game right now.
Me too.
I cannot imagine what's going through these players' minds. I mean,
oh, Clem's up to 4 orbitals. He managed to sneak out a 4th orbital. That's amazing. That's so many extra scans. That's so good.
We saw,
but
by
yes,
the way,
the stress.
Yeah, I mean, it is bad. We saw Kellezer in a similar crazy late game against Beyond yesterday. The reason he lost at the end was because he ran out of orbitals. He had a planetary, but didn't have a scan. So the fact that Clem, mules are nice. Mules are very important. Mules allow you to stay in the game a little bit longer, to play maybe a little bit more stubborn as the mule. But it's the scans that matter in this match. The vision to see where your opponent is, to be able to respond to where their tanks are. But somehow this game is, I'm not saying slowing down, but becoming a little bit less hectic. Clem's going to try to get on top of this orbital once again. Liberators are going to siege up. The Marines cannot fight this whatsoever. So Bunny, we talked about taking that north side base from the main. It is dead now. And again, the SCVs are the true bounty here on top of that orbital going down. 14, 15, 17 SCVs will fall.
Ooh,
and now Clem into another base.
From
Bunny out of position here. He thinks he's going to try to bait, but that's not going to work here. Again, remember, these Marines are so freaking strong.
Yeah, Clem's Marines are monstrously superior to Bunny's right now. Even once the 3-3 actually completes, they'll still be better with that extra 10 HP from the combat shields. But until that 3-3 completes, this is... So I almost wanted to point it out. There was a moment where it was like 10 extra Marines for Bunny, and he was closing in on that double drop of Clem, I actually think Clem might have even been able to take that fight. I don't blame him for backing away, and it's clearly worked out because he eventually killed that orbital. Hold that thought. We've got a massive counterattack coming from Bunny. He is in desperate, dire straits, and he is going to just stim straight across the map. Will kill the, I don't even know what base to call it now, just the base at the third location. Clem does have a siege tank in the main base, actually 3 siege tanks in the main. Bunny's army, this is his last ditch Hail Mary, full of grace. Hope my shields can hit you in the face. It's just not gonna happen though. He loses so much, and Clem, I think he has just done enough damage to this army. Bunny is finding economic damage, but he's losing so much to do it.
I mean, Clem is barely mining, and you talk about this, the lack of combat shields is a horrible thing, but at least Bunny has 3-3 right now, so he does have that going for him a little bit more, and if you get some really good sieges, you can make miracles happen. Clem's getting set up for the surround, though. He's got army on the left side, army in the main base. I think there's a bit of an army going. No, that's going for a bit of a rat onto the base. Tanks get massive shots here, but there is a Liberator, and the Vikings are marooned on the right side. So this tank position, Clem has to give it up. He's going to lose several tanks. And when we talk about the lack of combat shields, one of the big things is it makes tanks more effective as well. Bunny tries to move on top of this. Vikings are now finally going to try to move away, but the Marines are buffering for them. So Clem will knock some of these Vikings down, but he loses the majority of his own. Left side, though, this is the last bit of economy that Bunny has, and it will get knocked down. The SCVs will fall. The orbital is dead. Bunny, you talked about this being his last army. That has never been more true than it is right now. And my kingdom, combat shields, my kingdom for combat shields. Bunny does never gets it. Clem brings it back, and we move to game 3.
One of the craziest games of IEM. Unbelievable. This series is tooth and nail. Both players at multiple times in both games were down like 30, 40, 50 army supply. And I legitimately felt like there was times even with that where they were ahead. But in this game number 2, it is going to be Clem that closes it out. Man, we are just getting absolutely treated. You do not have higher stakes matches than this before grand finals go like this very often, and I'm just along for the ride,
dude. And you put this in the context of this series as well, not just game 2, and as insane as that was, game 1 was also just razor's edge back and forth. And you say forgetting combat shields maybe still being ahead, Bunny was ahead lacking combat shields. He had traded about 12 minutes in or something, he had traded about 1,000 resources better. He had better in economy, he had better army supply, he was doing whatever it took. And then, slowly Clem trades away. But it's hard. I'd be hard pressed to say, honestly, that even the reason Clem won that game was the lack of combat shields. It's really important, don't get me wrong. But it was much more on Clem finding openings and sniping bases and doing that. You can argue that, well, that was in part possible because Bunny had to bring more of his army to bear to fight Clem's army because of that lack of combat shields and because of that glaring HP disadvantage. But even still, I mean, what an insane game. And it's going to be even better maybe because Hecate is going to be our third map, and Steadfast Hecate has given us some of the very best games that we've had pretty much in this entire map pool. Certainly coming from Clem, a certain game against Cyril comes to mind, but we're going to see what exactly our players have in store for us. It's very simple. You win this game, you're in the playoffs. You lose, you're going home. It's game 3. And at the bottom left in the red, making a crazy series of this, winning through sheer grit and force of will for Team Liquid. It's Bunny. Clem.
And his opponent spawning up at the top right. Can he keep it together after a shieldless game 2? It is Mystery Gaming's Bunny. Man, this game 3 is what dreams are made of. Absolutely phenomenal stuff coming in from both players. Bunny, game number 1 was really under the gun there after having a huge lead, but was able to keep it together, never actually lost sight of the overall play. Clem, game 2 had had himself a lot of opportunities, ended up having a pretty rough mid game, but that lack of shields really gave him opportunities. It didn't win him the game. I honestly don't think it did, but it did change just about every Marine versus Marine fight in a reasonably enough significant way to say that it probably had a pretty big impact. Regardless, Clem made the better moves in the later stages, but even at the end, that one big push from Bunny that felt like the game was maybe already decided, it looked so scary. And God, this is just such an exciting match for me.
Yeah, again, and we said it last game, we've had a string of TVTs maybe not being the best leading up to this tournament, but we have been treated to some of the best TVTs I can remember in this tournament. It's been so freaking good. So question now, with your life on the line, what do you do? And the answer is you play the most stable game that you can ever go. Barracks, double gas, get into the factory, command center on the way behind that. Play the most middle of the road. Don't give your opponent some sort of build up or weird opportunity. Don't get greedy and go one Rax Reaper expand. Don't go aggressive and maybe they're playing more defensively and that gives you a disadvantage. Do everything you can to get into the mid game, because I think both players have proven that if this game goes even in the mid game, if this game goes even in the late game, either one can pull magic. Either one can do whatever it takes to win. As you point out, Clem, command center's just looks a little bit off position.
Yeah, it is a little bit off position. That's my bad. I was like, I'm just so stressed about the concept of this whole game. Oh, Clem gonna pick the fight, but that is not the fight to pick. And he will end up losing one of these Reapers here. Clem may be getting a little bit too excited in the heat and stress and majesty of this moment, because this is a big moment for both players. He did just win an incredibly hard-fought, skillful, but also, you know, they did make some misplays in terms of positioning and everything, but ultimately the better player, I think, did win that game number 2, or at least the player that played better in that game number 2. But we do see Clem a couple of little missteps here. They are doing mirrored builds, and we will see the Reaper getting taken down right there for Bunny. So now it's a Reaper dead on each side. But I am so happy to see that they are both doing the same thing, because this will just become a pure raw test of skill between these two.
Absolutely.
Do the medevac spot each other? They do for just a second. Did either play? Okay, Bunny spotted it. I think they might have both spotted it, but Clem is going to be the one committing in. Bunny hesitating a little bit, maybe trying to set an ambush. Actually, that's exactly what he's trying to do. But Clem is going to be able to find one of his opponent's Cyclones, will boost out of here, and he saves the medevac. He needs to head the hell home, though. Bunny might have an angle to actually cut this off. He's got a boost on a bit of a cooldown advantage, and he's using the Reaper to spot the medevac. Very smart play from Bunny. Clem, can he get away with this medevac? He will spot it. Good job from Clem.
I think Clem is in part, it just benefits from the play on Oceanborn, where he did the same thing to Bunny. He knows it's in there, and Bunny's going to sit here and try to prevent it, but there's dead airspace. He's going to be okay, and now Bunny's the one has to be careful, because Clem rallies forward. It's closer to his base. Medevac will go down, I'm going to assume. Medevac goes down on both sides. Clem, though, does get the better trade here. Ravens are not going to go down, and now Clem, is he going to get the Raven of Bunny? Just barely does not, and at the end of the day, it's a good trade for Clem. Well, until that Cyclone goes down, never mind. But at the very least, it goes even.
Yes. In total, they have lost the same thing, except Clem got 2 SCVs. Actually, well, hang on. He gets 3 SCVs. He got 1 in the natural with that Cyclone drop, and he gets 2 with the Reaper. And that is the difference right now in this game, is those 3 SCVs that have gone down. That is the only difference in this game, period. So Clem edging actually, no, that's not even a little bit true. Bunny has a way faster third command center. Oh man, that's a pretty big difference, but it will be covered by the fact that he got those 3 extra SCVs.
Yeah, it makes a pretty significant difference, because again, you know, one of the benefits of that quicker third base is you're building 3 SCVs at a time, and it's probably going to be about maybe 1, oh no, never mind, much further than that. So there's going to be a couple production cycles. Bunny should be able to catch up. But Clem is, again, building all of these Cyclones in the early game. He's on, what is he on right now? He's on 6. He's going up to 8 or even more. His Ravens are going to have a little bit more energy from the auto turret spam from earlier. But Bunny does have the middle of the map. He does have that Zelnaga tower and that position that is almost impossible to push into because of the line of sight blocker and the choke that you have to defend. It becomes very, very difficult. So Bunny's got the middle of the map. It's going to invalidate a lot of pressure opportunity from Clem. And Clem, he's speeding along, trying to get the third base as quick as possible, but it does mean that his orbital is going to be even further delayed.
Yes, but he has enough SCVs to make this worthwhile. This is a smart decision from Clem. He wants to gain the advantage of having that. It does mean that Bunny gets one mule a little bit quicker, but I think that's still worthwhile. Clem will try and jump Bunny in the middle of the map. Bunny does spot that there's an army coming behind that Marine with the watchtower, of course, and he's able to prevent getting, you know, kind of bopped right there. Clem might not recognize, though, that Bunny also went up to 8 Cyclones, and this could be very dangerous. I do want to mention Clem making an extra Raven. We almost never see a player go into extra Ravens like this. Oh, look at that supply depot build. Perfect timing right there. Clem committing in with this is very bold. He is going to drop auto turrets. Actually baits out 3 for 1. So that's technically a very good trade for Clem. It's weird to think of trading energy, but that's actually a pretty big deal, especially when you have one extra Raven. And he's going to bomb this tank. He will get it, as well as a few SCVs. I like this very much for Clem, actually. This little exchange, it's a lot better for him.
You got to be a little careful about the Cyclones that are going to try to rally forward, so he will be able to zone that out for now. But that's more energy that you have to spend. That really doesn't do a whole lot. But Clem is just sitting here in the main base. He thinks he can get more, and he does. It's a 6th dead worker. Cyclone's not going to get the lock on. Clem spends the majority of his energy, sure, but he gets 6 workers. He gets a tank, heavy damage on a Cyclone or 2. I really like that bit of that sequence of events from Clem, and now his third base is up. It's mining. He's very happy with that. He's up 8 workers or so. Combat shields, though, on the way for both sides. That's at least one thing we don't have to talk about.
Yeah, and thank God. I would have been so sad if he did not remember combat shields. Actually, I will say there is an interesting timing with talking about combat shields in game 2 as much as I did and as much as we did. There is going to be a timing where there's shields and 1-1 for Bunny and no shields and 1-1 for Clem. And if Bunny can find a fight during that little timing, there is a big opportunity, and he's got a few Marines on the map. I don't think we're necessarily going to see it, but there is a chance. Now, if that doesn't happen, Clem was faster on his armory, and that can be a pretty big deal. He does have the faster 2-2 upgrades. Bunny just completing his own armory. No 2-2 just yet, but we will see what happens here. They both mined out this little patch in order to provide themselves some vision. I actually think, yeah, Clem lost his depot, but it is going to be Bunny who will have a little bit of initiative right now. Clem spots the army on the left side. Funny to see so many Cyclones for both players still alive at this stage in the game.
So Clem's going to move everything on, or a good majority of his army onto the north side to counter this move from Bunny. That does maybe leave his main base to the third base a little bit more exposed. Marines are going to try to get on top of these Cyclones, but Cyclones, when we're only on 1-1 with everything as it is, that does mean that actually they can trade pretty nicely against Stim Marines. And this drop from Bunny should not go in. There's a missile turret there. There's a bunch of Marines hiding a little bit further backwards, trying to bait Bunny in maybe. So that's always going to be really nice. The Cyclones, again, will continue to cut away here, and they're going to lose some. But again, you're trading fairly well. Miles going to try to get on top of this Bunny, though. He's quick on the uptake. He's going to run around. He's not going to fall victim to this trap. Not today. And the game will go on. We're at 186, 190 supply from both players. Fourth base on the way. Bunny's much faster to his, though. Clem, he's floating over. Bunny, his planetary is just about done.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty big deal, the timing on that fourth base. It's not a massive difference, but it is definitely worth mentioning. Bunny with the initiative in the mid game, able to keep his opponent from landing that fourth. There actually isn't a whole lot to buffer for this third base, so we are going to see Bunny get some good trades. Meanwhile, moving on top of that left side, huge move from Bunny. This could be the backbreaker. He is going to find this fourth base. Clem does have the huge Raven energy advantage with that extra Raven, but Bunny fully maxed out 3 Raven as well. 13 SCVs go down. Bunny getting into the main base with the dregs of that drop. Army supplies are still very even, but the loss of that fourth is monstrously huge.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but it just feels like Bunny's faster. Clem's going to try to opt in the middle of the map with a 2-2 upgrade timing. All of his tanks are going to get shut down, but the Concave is so much better and steadfast. It doesn't matter that he lost the 4th base at this point. He smashes this army. The timing on the 2-2 with the tanks and the concaves mean that, yeah, Bunny, he got the 4th base fine. He's got 1 tank and 6 Marines on the map against this massive army of Clem. We've seen insanity in this series up until this point. Bunny, can you do it? Can you find that hold? I am not convinced.
I am not either, and in fact, he will have to give up this base. He's going to lose the orbital. That is a big deal. Clem will be on 1 extra orbital now. We do have Bunny trying to transition into starports. That was already started. Interference matrix does get used. Bunny going to pull the boys, try and break this position, but Clem's got a ton of tanks. There is a decent concave for Bunny, but the siege tanks are going to reign supreme. Clem is going to win this fight and almost certainly punch his tickets into the playoffs. Last year, he was 1 series short. This year, he makes up the difference.
That 4th Rave and that 2-2 timing, upgrades have defined this series, and upgrades at the end of the day have given Clem that opportunity to defend his Atlanta title, to move on into the playoffs. Steadfast, it was not easy. TVT has never been Clem's strong suit, but he's going to do just enough here. Bunny's going to try to make one last-ditch effort, but he's on 2 bases at this point. He's on 1 base at this point, and even if Clem loses this army, quite frankly, it will not matter anymore. Clem stems up the ramp. Bunny holding on until the last possible Marine, but it's 93 army supply to 22. And at this point, Bunny, he's hopping, sure, but there's not many springs in those legs. Clem will take an incredible series. Holy crap, Steadfast. What a series to qualify.
And what a way to do it after losing that 4th base, getting...